Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we are looking at the G.I. Joe Classified series, Mutt and Junkyard. This is a figure? These are figures? I don't know. I'm really excited about these. I love the animal companions. And Mutt and Junkyard was without a doubt one of my favorites as a kid. The Rottweiler that you got, the little tiny 0 points of articulation Junkyard that I had as a kid was one of my absolute favorites. He used to go on missions that Mutt didn't even go on. Junkyard was just always in my crew when GI Joe had to get deployed, and so I'm really excited for both of these. But I'll be honest, Junkyard is probably of the two, the figure that I'm more excited about. Let's take a look at the packaging. First things first, the window is back. We have windowed packaging again for G.I. Joe Classified, just as it started. It went through plastic-free packaging, and now we're back to the window. I don't know how to feel about this because I liked these before, but I kind of grew to really like the plastic-free packaging. Now we're back to this. I think we're actually about to see a change in packaging for like another wave coming up here. So there's no consistency to the packaging anymore, which is kind of great news. It kind of makes the decision easier for me to just get rid of all the packaging and just move on with my life, make more room for other stuff, not keep the packaging, keep the figures as they're sort of meant to be kept, you know, out of the box, played with on the shelf, that kind of thing. But anyway, let's take a look at the packaging. So we got the big window, and now we can see the figure again. We see all the extra hands, the goggles, the weapons. You see Junkyard, and then Junkyard's, alternate head there. We get some art for Mutt and Junkyard on there. Now, some things have carried over, and some things haven't. We get still the blue sort of digital look of Mutt, the QR code, and then the icons on that side. On the back, we still get this full sort of print. Well, this was what was on the front, so we still kind of retained that, but now it's on the back instead of the front. We don't get that sort of the kind of blown up view of all the accessories and stuff like that. We still get the detailed highlights. So there's elements from the old packaging that they're keeping with the new packaging, and it's like, it's confusing and it's different, but it's old, and it's anyway. Then we get the sort of full side panel art on the other side, and that's weird because it used to be, that we got part of the art here and then it sort of wrapped onto the side, which I really liked. Now we're getting sort of smaller art here that we get, the blue digital on the one side and then sort of the wider strip on that side. That's the package. Who cares? Moving on. Let's get this guy out of the box. All right, so here we have Mutt and Junkyard out of the box, and these are phenomenal figures. I've had mixed results with the last few figures from the classified line, but honestly, these are great. I mean, I have one very small nitpick with Mutt, but Junkyard is fantastic. And some of the things that I like about Mutt far outweigh the little nitpick that I have. So let's take a look. Very first, my nitpick is the shoulders. I've mentioned it before, like having this weird notch. I just don't feel like they need to do that. They haven't done that with that many figures. But other than that, they've done a lot of good things. This is not that bicep that's just cut straight off. It's actually that one that's, sculpted around the shoulder piece. The butterfly joints are fine. They don't have a crazy range of motion, but they're clean and tidy. They don't have like a weird cut in terms of the sculpt. Detail work on the vest is great. You've got sort of the shells there. You've got the his badge. I don't know what he has a badge for. I can't remember. I don't know his bio very well. Not a ton of paint apps in the secondary. You know, there's some buckles, some zippers, and a couple things that I mentioned. You know, the red over the shoulder, but it could use probably a wash or something on this brown. The brown is very like plastic brown. But other than that, as I said, very, very nice. The green is sort of a similar thing. Like, it's a weird shade of green that makes it feel a little more plasticky. But, I mean, we're talking about a toy, so it is what it is, I suppose. He's got this canister on his belt. I don't know what it is. I genuinely can't read. It's so small. I can't read what it says. Anyway, who cares? I'm not going to get hung up on that. As I said, great figure. The face, this head sculpt is phenomenal. He's got, you know, a couple scratch marks on his face there, scars. But the like 5 o'clock shadow, like the detail in the hair, it just, everything about it is really, really good. This is one of, if not the best head sculpt that I've seen in the classified line. It's really, really well done. It's really well executed. I mean, if they can keep this level of quality up for the next little bit, I think they're very much back on track. Because Mutt looks absolutely awesome. Junkyard is this like the perfect little articulated Rottweiler? It might very well be. The articulation is quite similar to Timber, but I think done a little bit better. You know, the sculpting and then the engineering is such that he moves a little bit better. The neck articulation is still a little, it's not as good as I would like. The neck, you know, will sort of rotate, but the left to right isn't really there. The up and down isn't really there. Now, that could be a product of the harness. I suspect this harness would come off relatively easily with a little bit of heat, you know, soften that up, pop the head off. You'd straighten the legs out and probably slide off relatively easily. I'm not going to do that for the sake of the video, but I will probably try that, you know, in the next few days when I'm just sort of messing around with a few other figures that need hot baths. But he's awesome. He's perfect. Like, it's a dream come true for you know, 8-year-old me or 10-year-old me, however old I was when I got Mutt Junkyard. These guys are awesome. And the accessories are also awesome. So let's take a look at the accessories. All right, starting off with Junkyard, because I think that's quicker and easier. He comes with this like good boy alternate head, you know, tongue out, looking very, very friendly, as Junkyard does. This head's not even that angry, but this one is like just adorable. Look at that guy. That's definitely going to be the shelf display head, I think, because he's got to look like a good boy on the shelf, because, you know, Junkyard's a good boy. Then moving on to Mutt's accessories, starting off with sort of the least exciting, we get a small knife, painted blade that's going to tuck into the vest. We get a small pistol. Well, it's a regular size pistol. This does have a hit of green on the top. The green is kind of slapped on there. It's not painted all that well, but this is going to go in the holster, and I'm probably never really going to think about it ever again, because it comes with other accessories as well. He comes with a baton, which is reminiscent of the OG figure. He doesn't come with the machine gun that we are used to with the vintage figure, but I kind of don't care that much, if I'm being perfectly honest. This is a perfectly adequate weapon. Although he's probably going to get something that I have in the collection that's a little more, that feels a little more G.I. Joe. This feels a little too real world for me as far as like what I like to you know, load out my G.I. Joes with, so I'll have to find something else for him. This does have a removable magazine. I will mention that. We might have seen this before, and when I was a kid, this is the weapon I would have used for every GI Joe given the opportunity. I don't really know what this is, but it looks like an M16. It probably isn't. I just don't know guns that well. But I'm gonna go with something a little more Nerf, a little more near sci-fi, whatever you want to call it, because that's how I like my GI Joes to be spec'd. Then we get a whole bunch of hands. And the interesting thing about these particular hands is that they're all one-offs. These are effectively like hands that are kind of like signal hands, like giving the dog commands, which are pretty cool. I don't know if these represent like specific dog commands or what. But we get quite a selection of hands, and I think they're going to be pretty fun to like pose the figure with. If you're a toy photographer, you got lots of options here. I didn't sort of pre-sort them to like left and right hands. I probably should have. There is one fist. There isn't two fists, interestingly enough. You get one fist. As I said, I believe that these are like command hands to sort of tell Junkyard what he wants him to do. Come here, come hither hand right there, I think. A pointing hand, just different gestures, which I think is kind of cool. Like, if you're an animal handler, you would definitely have all those hands. Well, you'd have one set of hands, but you would use that one set of hands to do multiple commands. So let me make a little bit of room here because I still gotta fit this stuff in. We get a helmet. This helmet feels more like the vintage stuff than a lot of the other helmets we've had. It's got a weird sort of dirty sort of effect on it, which I'm not entirely sure how I feel about, because it feels dirty, but maybe that's what it's sort of going for. So maybe it's perfect. I'll let you decide. We get Mutt's muzzle. Junkyard doesn't have a muzzle. He's a good boy, but Mutt, on the other hand, needs a muzzle. I think this is probably some sort of respirator, air purifying sort of system. I don't think it's really a muzzle. And then we get two sets of goggles. We get an on the head sculpt set of goggles and an on the helmet set of goggles. They're virtually the same. The only difference is the band on one is bigger so that it will fit over the helmet. And then the band on the other is a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter so that it fits right on the head, which is pretty cool. They've got a nice metallic gold finish to the lens, and they look pretty good. So great figures, great loadout, a lot of fun. These are definitely going to be something that, as I said, if you're a toy photographer, I think Mutt Junkyard is like a no-brainer, because there's just a lot of stuff going on here. You got different sort of emotive faces for the dog, and then you get all the hands. You only get one face for Mutt, and that is snarling, disgruntled dog handler, I guess. But it looks fantastic, so, absolutely no complaints from me. I'm going to get this guy geared up and give my final thoughts. All right, so final thoughts on these guys. Mutt Junkyard are phenomenal. I mean, this is... if you're collecting classified, this is a must-buy. This is a great set. Junkyard is sort of worth the price, in my opinion, of getting the pack. But Mutt is a fantastic figure as well, so you can't go wrong picking this one up. I grabbed mine from eCollectibles.ca. I think he's still got some left. I would strongly recommend you go out and get Mutt Junkyard yourself, because they are phenomenal. Definitely figures that I would recommend, and ones that I am super happy to have in my collection. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you'd like to see future videos, hit that bell icon to get notifications when I post new ones. Until next time, bye-bye.